Hello. Привет, comrade, друзья. My name is Mike the Healy Gut Guy, and you just got a little Russian lesson there as well. But I'm going to show you why holistic medicine is hot garbage, hot trash. Because I've seen people use holistic medicine for years, and they still have colitis, they still have IBS, they still have Crohn's. Now, it's better than a lot of modern medicine, but whoop-de-ding, I mean, that's really not a high standard to hold yourself to. I understand the appeal, and I understand why that's why people gravitate to holistic medicine. You know, I focused on holistic medicine for quite a while before I decided, like, hey, enough's enough. This is never going to work because it didn't work on me, and it honestly hasn't worked on anybody because it doesn't address the root cause of the problem. And this is why I use something called German New Medicine to help people get better, because it helps us understand what the body is doing, why it's doing it, and most importantly, how to get rid of all your gut symptoms so you can have cake on your birthday, you can go on a date and have a glass of wine with that pretty boy or that pretty girl or your wife or your husband. I want to show you how to live a normal life again and get rid of all this holistic nonsense. Now, I do recommend that you do these things, avoid toxins, and avoid radiation. I wouldn't roast a marshmallow over the elephant's foot, which is just a drive away from me, actually. And I do advise that you eat easy to digest and nutrient-dense foods. But what do when you do all these things perfectly and you don't get better? That should tell you that you're fundamentally doing something wrong. Even though everyone's saying, like, oh, this is the thing to do and blah, 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 blah. It's not working. It's not working. And I'm going to explain why it doesn't work, and I'm going to tell you what to do to get better. So holistic medicine will blame your disease on four or five different things. The first one is probably nutrition, but I didn't do this in order, so let's just do this. So the first one is toxins. Plastic. All these estrogens are giving you titties, and milk are going to be flying out of my titties the more I touch this plastic. It's just ridiculous, guys. Yes, I don't advise that you... I would recommend that you cooked with a less toxic pan and stuff like that, but I've never seen anyone get results removing toxins out of their lives, ever. The only thing I see people get more and more and more paranoid. Everything in this house, everything in our modern world today can be classified as toxic. Every time this marker smells good, this is going to give me brain cancer. It gets absolutely ridiculous. It gets absolutely ridiculous. And let's keep this simple. Do people get better when they remove these toxins out of their environment? No, they don't. It's like 100% of the time, they never get better. And then we have a big, like 99% of the population gets exposed to these things every day, and they have no symptoms. It's just a fact. 2 is infection. A lot of these things are blamed on infections. Now, I've worked with many people. I've done this myself. I've bought Candida, and I've tested natural disinfectants and stuff on it. I know what kills it, and just like easy, just one drop of something, it'll never grow back. And I've implemented these, my knowledge on people, and they'll still have a messed up gut microbiome. And it's because there's no such thing as infection. There's no such thing. When you start to investigate the terrain theory, you quickly will learn that bad bacteria and fungi come from your own cells. And German New Medicine tells us that these bacteria and fungi are made by our own cells for a very specific purpose. They are here to get rid of the extra gut cells we no longer need when we enter the healing phase. So for those of you who have IBS or Crohn's or colitis, you experienced an indigestible morsel. I can't believe this happened to me. Something you cannot accept, something you cannot digest in your life, that's happening to you. All of these tissues in your body developed for a very specific reason, for a survival purpose. And when you perceive something as a threat, a conflict shock, just naturally your body wants to survive. And what it's going to do is going to pick one of these organs that think is best able to help you with that situation and put it into overdrive. So with an indigestible morsel, I can't believe that person did this to me. What a jerk. I can't accept this. I'm going to build up extra gut cells to help me digest this indigestible morsel. I was living with a crazy ex-girlfriend and we fought like cats and dogs and it was absolutely miserable. I couldn't believe she was so crazy, blah, blah, blah. Building up extra gut cells to help me digest this indigestible morsel. We went on vacation, and I know, guys, it's a bad decision. This isn't Mike to how to talk to girls guy. This is Mike the Heal Your Gut guy you're talking to. And what happened is when we went on this vacation, we kind of said, hey, let's put our differences aside and enjoy this vacation. And so I was able to let go of the conflict, and that's when my body told me, all right, we got to get rid of all these extra gut cells now. And I was in misery. It hurt, it sucked, but that's what is supposed to happen. And things get out of control when we don't know what is going on. Because I blamed it on food. I ate a bunch of peanut butter that week, and I ate a bunch of pizza that week, and so I blamed it on the peanut butter and the pizza, when in reality it was just me resolving that stressful situation. This was a relationship that was constantly up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Those are all conflict relapses. So my body one week is making extra gut cells to help me digest this indigestible situation, and then the next week it's getting rid of them because we're friends again. We're on friendly terms again. And, there's people who've been doing this for years and years in their life, and it just creates chaos. It's just, and then just becomes a mangled mess in your intestinal system. So for those of you dealing with IBS or Crohn's, it's going to be indigestible anger. That was me. I had a lot. I get angry at people. And with colitis, it's going to be more of an ugly situation, an ugly indigestible morsel. So again, being trapped in the healing phase is what causes these infections. It's not due to not eating enough probiotics. I do recommend that you have probiotics, but you gotta realize, simple, let's keep this simple. I have a younger brother who wasn't breastfed. He had formula. He took antibiotics on a regular basis growing up, and even when he was an adult, takes antibiotics on a regular basis. He rarely has probiotics, if ever. Perfect digestion. And then you had me, who had been eating perfectly forever. And, I had milk growing up. From my mother, I had her colostrum and all that stuff. I was the firstborn. I got more nutrients. And, I had a whole bunch of digestive issues growing up. And the big difference between the two of us is that we experience life very differently. I'm a very ambitious person. I hold myself to a high standard, and so I tend to get frustrated easily and angry easily, and based on my past experiences, kind of helped shape my personality. We're shaped by our past experiences, where my brother, on the other hand, he is a very laid-back person and rarely ever gets angry. So radiation is another big one. Again, I don't suggest that you sleep with your iPhone under your pillow, or you put your iPhone right over your crotch to irradiate your sperm or your ovaries, but it does not cause gut disease. It does not cause these gut conditions. It could damage them. Toxins could damage them. Radiation could damage your cells, but it can't cause them to adapt like a Crohn's person would. Because it's a physical process. It's a physical process that's triggered by your psyche. If my dog runs out into the street right now and gets turned into a pancake by a tractor trailer coming by, I'm going to cry because it's sad. I don't have eye disease because my eyes are watering. No, I'm sad. It's a sad event. You have this indigestible thing in your life. You know, your gut isn't broken. It's trying to help you get through this indigestible morsel situation. That's what's happening. And, you know, there's people wearing tinfoil hats now and putting stickers on their smartphone. Again, like, that's all great, but it's not going to fix your problem. I've seen people like totally uproot their life for these things. You know, like they'll live in a super expensive house. You know, my house tested. Like, think about how ridiculous it is to have your house test positive for mold. You're the only one in the house that had symptoms, and like there'll be like a family. There'll be one person who's suffering from mold toxicity, and then there'll be like 5 other people in the house that have 0 symptoms, yet they blame the mold in the house. I mean, common logic tells us that's the biggest problem with holistic medicine. It does not use logic, along with the rest of the modern world right now, especially when it comes to health issues. We have to use logic. And that's what I love about German New Medicine. Germans, if they know how to do anything correctly, they are very precise and logical people. So, and let's get on to the fourth one. This is usually the first thing people try when they try to deal with their IBS, Crohn's, and their colitis. They go, oh, it's a nutritional deficiency. Oh, I'm eating bad foods. Why is it then that most people who are on healthy diets have the worst digestive symptoms? It's true 100% of the time. You know, people don't go on these special diets until shit hits the fan and, you know, they're in the hospital and they really got to tackle this. And, you know, they might feel a little bit better, but they're still walking a tightrope all the while. Their friends and their family, they're eating whatever they want. They're going out, they're getting drinks, they're having beer and pizza, they're having wine on a date, they're eating cake on their birthday, they're eating ice cream, they're eating whatever they want, and they're having perfectly formed stools, all while you're on a boring, bland diet that requires for you to be hours in the kitchen. You got to be that annoying person who's always like, well, did this spatula touch gluten and all that garbage? Like, look, I advise that people eat healthy. But if you do that at the expense of demonizing all these other foods, you're just creating tracks. Tracks are things that remind us of the conflict, and it reruns the program, and you're going to re-get your symptoms. I did not have starch issues until I started the specific carbohydrate diet. Like, I could eat bread and I was relatively fine, and then I started the specific carbohydrate diet. I started to go, bread, you're bad. Think about being such a wuss that you're terrified of bread, you're terrified of an egg, you're terrified of milk. How pathetic is that? Like, I used to be that way. I'm not trying to make fun of you, but from looking at it from like a biological standpoint, you are terrified of baby food that's filled with nutrients and easy to digest. That is ridiculous. You need to use your brain. You need to use logic. Why would you be allergic to easy to digest and nutrient-dense foods? It makes no sense. Guys, if you go back in time just 100 years ago and you had some of these food intolerances, you would starve to death. Because you didn't have access to all these different foods like we do today. You would starve to death. The reason why we develop these food intolerances is because when we get these symptoms, I agree, it's logical. Oh, I get diarrhea, it's probably something I ate. and we start to blame foods. First you hear it's dairy, then you hear it's fried foods, then you hear it's gluten, and then you go on a keto diet, and then you go on a carnivore diet, and then you go on a vegan diet, and then you just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. How about, like, we're literally, I've seen, you should see some of the posts that I see where people are, I can just see them at their keyboard, like, oh my God, should I eat eggs? Like, oh my God, I don't know, milk. Relax. It's going to be okay. It's just food. It's just energy and nutrient. It's not a bee. It's not a wasp. It's just food. Like, we need to relax. We need that. This is why I have such beef with the holistic community right now. It's because they're psychotic and they're not using logic. And I used to be a part of this community, but when things don't work, and we've tried it for like 10 years now, and we're getting mediocre, if not bad results, we have to try something different. Disease starts in the psyche. All of you who are watching this video, you have a Hammer focus in your brain right here. This is a ring-shaped formation on your CT scans. That signal, you have a special program. Your brain is putting your small intestine, your intestines into overdrive to help you get through this indigestible morsel. You've already done that. You've already resolved it, and you're in the healing phase, and that's why you get the symptoms. You usually don't get symptoms in the conflict active phase. So the symptoms come in the healing phase. So that is what is happening. That's what's happening 100% of the time. And I know that's hard to accept, but truth is stranger than fiction, especially when you follow the facts. Because holistic medicine and modern medicine, they're making stuff up with statistics. It's stupid. You can make anything up with statistics. But statistics are good for drawing conclusions and testing those and making hypotheses. But when you do something for 10 years and it's not working, try something different, guys. And German New Medicine is the route you want to go. And I have tons of videos on my channel. I know you're probably confused right now, so what I want you to do, if you click on the cards or on the end screens, there's going to be a video where I go through my case study and many of my students' case studies where I show you exactly what we did step by step, how we use German New Medicine to get better so we can eat whatever we want. I want to show you how to do this. I want to show you how to be able to eat cake on your birthday, go out with your friends and have pizza, go on a date and have wine, and not have to worry about this mess of remodeling your house because there was mold exposure or something like that. Like, I agree. Don't live in a mold infested house. But just use logic. You have to take off your holistic glasses because they're going to lead you to be a health nut who still has health issues. The health nut with health issues that never go away because they're not addressing the root cause of the problem. And I was part of that boat. I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm making fun of you guys, but I'm trying to help you see the hypocrisy and the blatant, obvious lack of logic this community is clinging on to for dear life. And, they are hanging on for dear life for a lot. I mean, it's just, the results are bafflingly bad. You need to address the root cause, which is in the psyche. Identify and neutralize these tracks, which I will show you how to do in this video. If you're really serious about healing your gut and you want my assistance and my coach's assistance, I have something called the Rapid Gut Healing Program. But I have tons and tons of free content available for you guys, which I've seen a lot of people heal just off of that. But if you want my assistance, I have something called the Rapid Gut Healing Program if you want to work with me. And that's it, guys. Let me know down in the comments. I think I'm going to do like a 100-day challenge where I do like 100 videos in a row for 100 days every single day. So I'm going to need help with video ideas because I'm going to run out of ideas very quickly. So let me know what videos you guys want to what do you guys want to learn about? What are your questions about German new medicine? And I will try to answer them as best as I can. So, пока, пока, до свидания. That's how you say bye in Russian. 2 different ways to say it. So, bye-bye.